Now when you're using a bow for hunting, the number one thing that will impact your penetration more than anything else and your effectiveness is your broadhead. If you have a fresh, virgin, sharp broadhead like that muzzy right there, or this interlock right here, both of them are 4 blades. I always like 4 blades. 3 blades cut, make 3 cuts. 4 blades make 4 cuts. I'm not a real genius with math, but I can count from 3 to 4, and 4 is better than 3, and it don't affect anything. I don't care what anybody has to say. They don't affect how they fly at all. And if I'm looking to make a fast, effective stop on my game animals, 4 is better than 3. And sharp is better than resharpened. I'll tell you that right now. So as long as your broadheads are sharp, you just don't need a whole lot of power or speed, as long as you can put the points on the spot you're trying to shoot at. Now that's where the crossbows got the conventional bow beat, because you don't have to hold the string back, and if you can just hold that thing up just like a rifle, you're able to hold that point on there, it's going to shoot. Now, these things do lose velocity a lot faster than you think they do. It's heavy, they're large diameter, and as you can see right there, those big giant duravanes have a lot of friction when they're going through the air. That's how they help hold the arrow stable. But they also cause a lot of friction when they're dragging the arrow down. Now these little guys, it's a smaller diameter arrow, this is Easton Axis, and it has these little baby blazer vanes. It actually, from my experimentation, doesn't seem like it slows down, or I don't seem to develop quite as much arrow drop at the distances that I'm getting at from the faster arrow. Now again, it really doesn't matter, because once I set up and know the points on my sights, on that toxonic sights I've got over here on this bow, it's the same thing as once I know my points on this. It really doesn't matter how much curvature you really have on the bow, because you're putting the proper point for the proper distance. Now another thing to consider when you're comparing or thinking about crossbow versus a vertical bow is this: how much time do you have to practice? Now if you don't have a lot of time to practice, and you really don't want to practice, maybe archery is just not your thing, and you'd like to be able to do like you do on a muzzleloader or a rifle. You'd like to be able to go out and shoot a few times before season and make sure you can still put it on target and go, then definitely a crossbow, a horizontal bow, is the way to go, because you can do that with that. It doesn't require the patience and dedication that a vertical bow does. And it doesn't require the skill set and the dexterity and the strength. So as your shoulders get older, or you develop a disability, or you just don't have the strength you used to, it'll allow you to hunt where you can't hunt with the larger 70 pounds, 60 pounds, and you can go down to 50 pounds and still be quite effective hunting, but you still got to hold the bow out. Even as light as this Matthews is, fully dressed, you still have to be able to hold it out and hold her steady and hold her back. And with 85% let off, you still have to hold it for some fixed amount of time. You don't have to do that with a crossbow. What is a benefit on a vertical bow that you don't get on a crossbow is you get pretty good cycle time with it. If you sling one and you don't run the deer off, you can pop another one back in it pretty quick. That's not the case with a crossbow. I don't care who makes it. You're not going to cock a 150 pound, 165 pound, 175, 85 pound, 225 pound bow. You're not going to cock that thing in a tree stand very quickly without making a lot of movement. Now you can pretty well much silently and effectively reload another arrow in a vertical bow. You can do that fairly quickly and fairly conveniently. So you have sort of stealth and speed of recycling with a vertical bow versus some level of assurances with the horizontal bow. It's sort of robbing Peter to pay Paul. You get some benefits with a crossbow that you don't get with a a conventional bow, and you get with a conventional bow that you don't get with a crossbow. So I don't know that there is a such thing as one is better than the other. They're just different tools for different things. Now we have archery purists out there who will run people down, and they'll say, you know, if crossbows are like guns and you ought to be ashamed, and they ought to have their own season, and they ought not be able to be used in times when we have bow season thing. And personally, I think that's just a bunch of nonsense. I think that hurts archery. I think it hurts everybody. I don't think that makes anybody want to hunt or get into archery. I think that if you have someone who starts with a crossbow, I think it's just very natural that they want to push their skill set and say, well, let me take a little off of the machinery, put a little bit more back on me, put a little more challenge on me, see what I can do. It's the same reason that some people drop away from compound bows and go to recurves, or go to traditional longbows without any kind of sights, whatever, more like the Native American. Now you talk about somebody who's got to have some skills. Try to hit something with something like that. I can't, and I'm not going to try. It's something that I do very much admire those who do, but I'm certainly not going to put anybody down who uses a crossbow. I'm not going to pretend to be superior using this bow versus that one or whatever. I think it's a personal choice, and I think the woods and fields and tournaments have enough room for all of us to participate. So it's one of the reasons why I kind of on this video have disabled the comments, because when I've done things like this in the past in forums, I just tend to get a bunch of the same old yahoos want to come in and argue and call them guns and whatever, and talk about poaching and just stuff that has no place really being associated with the type of equipment you use. You can't blame the tool for what the craftsman does. In my opinion, I don't think it really matters which one of the two types of equipment you use, horizontal or vertical bows. I think you can use a horizontal bow more effectively with less time and energy and effort as far as becoming accuracy, just putting the dot on the spot. But I also think you pay a price for it. One, in cycle time, that you don't reload as quickly. Two, this thing is heavy, and they're all going to be heavy. You're going to have awkwardness as far as a hunting tool. That a crossbow, just with this part poking out, they're cumbersome to drag through the woods. They have short arrows that are very good at getting lost. They have plenty of power, more so than you really need. They still are arrows. No, they're not faster than the speed of sound. And so I find that deer jump a crossbow arrow a whole lot more than they jump a conventional bow. So, yes, you get some benefits, but you pay a price. Now you move over to a vertical bow, whether it be 65% let off, 85% let off, or a recurve or a long bow. They're going to be harder to work with. They're going to be. You got to spend more time getting proficient with. I maximize my efforts by using long sights and extended weights that are extended at long periods away, using like this cartel extension bar and this little doinker. That helps me stabilize. I mean, I use every technological advantage I can get, and I can hit the mark reasonably well as far as a hunter goes. In the opening sequence, you saw me shoot at 25 yards. You saw me shoot both of them. I think I hit the spot well enough to be effective as a hunter in the woods, to be ethical and honest with my hunt.